Welcome to the great world of ProThoughts and the project management. I'm your host today and I'm going to start a new series of the podcasts which will focus only on your PMP Q&A. Guys, the one belief that I have is there is no problem which doesn't have a solution. Every problem comes with its own solution. In fact, may not be one solution, could be more than one solution. Your PMP questions exactly reflect that. Now, when you look at your PMP questions, at times you get carried away too much because many of the alternatives are similar to each other, and this is a confusion. So I'm going to try to help you out in this series of podcasts through my thoughts, and you can probably align your thoughts with mine, and we will get the ball rolling over the period of time. So there you go with Saurabh. So here we go. Question 1. The project manager shift to an agile approach for a project with an aggressive go-to-market timelines. The project manager needs to revise the stakeholder plan so that it follows the agile principles. What should the project manager do to meet this need? Now let's evaluate all the 4 options. Option A. Design a digital communication system that allows for virtual submission, logging, reviewing, and escalation of issues. Option B. Remove unnecessary layer of management and create dynamic co-creative process to promote the direct communication between project team and stakeholders. Option C. Modify templates to include the product backlog progression and the burn down rate and encourage use of stand-ups. And option D. Review the stakeholder engagement assessment metrics to classify the desired level of engagement of the stakeholders to direct the level of communication necessary with the identified set of stakeholders. Now, how do we crack this kind of challenges? Coming to you. Let's break it up. As usual, we will stick to the practice of elimination as I discussed already. Elimination is the best approach, no doubt. So let's see how we use elimination to kill this monster. Option A. Design a digital communication system that allows for the virtual submission, logging, reviewing, escalation of issues. Okay, understand. Being agile doesn't necessarily mean digital. No, that's not the way. The ask is you are getting transformed to agile. That means your mindset has to be agile. Agile talks about the flexibility. Agile talks about the dynamism. So option A doesn't reflect well. It's just trying to ask you to go digital, not necessary. So we can eliminate option A. Let's see option B. Remove unnecessary layer of management and create dynamic co-creative process. Yes, that's a good option, seems to be, but you can't be so sure until you reveal the cards on option C and option D, right? So let's park this for a while, right, in the parking lot. It's a good option. Option C. Modify templates to include product backlog progression and burn down rate and encourage use of stand-ups. Yes, stand-ups are required. However, modify templates to include product backlog progression. This is a different ballgame altogether than what the context of the question. Let's understand the context of the question. It's talking about the project manager shift to an agile approach with an aggressive go-to-market. So for us, having your templates modified may not solve your problem. Again, it's a mindset-based question. So we can eliminate easily option C. So let's use option D now. Review the stakeholder engagement assessment matrix, and you all know by your preparation that this is called SAM, and SAM is truly a measure of the current level of engagement to the desired level of engagement, right? So let's focus on this one. Seems to be a good option so far. Review the SAM to classify the desired engagement level of relevant stakeholders to direct the level of communication possible. Good option again. So you're narrowed down between B and D finally. How do we select the best? If I say both are right answers, relatively, which is better? Go back to D, remove unnecessary layers of management and create a dynamic co-creative process. Probably just a generic high-level context, we go end-to-end for a very long time, then the little tactical approach of creating a SAM and just worrying about current to desired level of engagement. See the difference. The difference is the B takes you to the mindset of the agile project manager, right? A D just talks about the tactical level of a solution. D is the right answer, no doubt about it. The option is not bad, but the B scores over D when you have to select between these two kind of options. Look at a long-term perspective and the most important, how it aligns to your question. So for now we will eliminate D from the context of the question perspective and select option B. So that's the first question. I hope you are still in the game. Let's take a look. Let's talk about first question coming up here. Project team members are concerned that a new resource does not seem suitable for an assigned task. Now let's look at the options here. Option 1. Contact senior management to discuss the possibility of reassigning the new resources to a different project. Option 2. Schedule a chat with new resource to understand their strengths level and assess the knowledge or skills gap. Third option, ask the team members to document task-related deficiencies displayed by the resource. And the last option, suggest the new resource to go through the necessary training to improve the knowledge or skill level required to fulfill the responsibility on the project. Now, how would you kill this big animal? So the way to do that is, and I seriously believe in this since the day I got my PMP certified, elimination approach. Use your elimination approach. That means take up an option and try and eliminate them rather than selecting the best answer. You want to see that? How do we do this? Let's try. 1. Let's take the first option. Contact senior management to discuss the possibility of reassigning the resources. Okay. The question says the project team members are concerned that a new resource doesn't seem to be. So option 1, let's talk about this option. It's eliminated out because when you say contact senior management, that doesn't solve the problem, right? We can straightforward eliminate this. Option 2, schedule a chat with a new resource to understand the strength level. This is talking about understanding that resource's SWOT analysis. Doing a SWOT to understand the strengths. Could be a good answer. So let's put it up in a parking lot. Let's see option 3. Ask the team members to document task-related deficiency. This is a tactical solution. This may not work at all. So let's try to eliminate this option also and see the option D. Suggest the new resource to go through the necessary training, improve the knowledge or skills gap. Could be a good option, long-term perspective. Now let's try to elaborate between option A and C. When you look at the A and C, these are clearly out of your radar, right? So let's focus on B and D. What do you think? Between B and D, both seems to be right? That's your confusion. Now let's iron out. If I look at option D, yes, good option. But before option D is taken up, you need to have option B chosen. Why? Unless you understand the gap analysis through the SWOT, how would you identify what trainings need to be incorporated to them, right? So you must do option B first, identify the SWOT analysis, identify the gaps, and then from a long-term perspective, sustain it through the option D. The next question coming up. A project manager develops a project management plan and schedule based on an agreed upon project life cycle of 16 months. Later, due to the changing business requirements, the project manager receives a request for completion within 9 months. I'm sure this must be happening with you guys too. What should the project manager do next to respond to this proposed change in timeline? Before I go to the options, guys, look at the keyword. You see the keyword? Keyword is the next in this case. Please go through the keywords in your question. That's a key to your success in your exam. So let's look at the options. Option A, work with the key stakeholders to reprioritize the scope and identify the requirements that can be completed within the modified timelines. Option B, immediately ask project team members to work overtime to complete the task within new timelines. Option C, ensure that substantial scope creep is included in the original project schedule so that the revised deadlines are met. And option D, meet with the project team to review the plan and identify the tasks which can be done parallelly and assess the need for any additional resources required to complete the task within the new timeline. Now, how do we analyze? Again, as usual, we take up an elimination approach. Let's look at option A. Work with key stakeholders to reprioritize the scope and identify the requirements that can be completed within the modified timelines. You may be able to work with the stakeholders to reprioritize the scope. That's a good option. Agile mindset always allows that. So let's think about it and keep it in a parking lot rather than eliminating it. Look at option B. Immediately ask project team members to work overtime to complete the task within new timelines. Look at the first word, immediately. In any of your question in your exam, please be aware of this word. Only, must, immediately, definitely not, or definitely yes. Let's look at the next one. The project manager schedules an iteration review and learns that few key stakeholders do not approve of how a feature has been developed. What should the project manager do first in order to address this issue? Did you look at this keyword? I hope you noticed this keyword called first, right? So let's look at the option and apply this keyword to it. Invite project team members to a brainstorming session to identify an appropriate response. Not a bad idea. Yes, you can always do that, as you might be doing in practice as well. You gather your team members to have multiple rounds of opinion and discussions. Let's take option B. Schedule a meeting with stakeholder groups to have an open dialogue and incorporate multiple viewpoints to get common understanding of the feature that's developed. Great option. It's in fact better option than A as well. Both the options are correct. Let's keep both in the parking lot for now. Option C. Meet with the team to find out immediate solutions to bring some kind of satisfaction between stakeholders and close out the area of concern. Guys, be careful about this. Two killer here. One killer is a word immediate. There is nothing called immediate. Second killer here, close the area of concern. It's a close-ended question completely. It doesn't allow you to think. So right away eliminate it. So option C, I would eliminate. Option D, ask the project sponsor to act as a neutral party in a negotiation with those stakeholders who are dissatisfied. Hang on, guys. Could be a right option, but then what you're trying to do, you're trying to lose your control, giving a control to the sponsor without you even trying it out. The question say, what's the first thing that you will do, right? The first thing may not be this one. So even if the D is a right answer, I would not go with D. So I will rather eliminate D. So C and D eliminated. Let's look at A and B once again. A talks about the brainstorming session and B talks about a wider group of stakeholders having open dialogue and communication. So I think the answer should be B, only because it allows you to have the conflicts resolved, having a multiple viewpoints, not just from the team, but from the stakeholders as well.